don't even know if I want to play yet, Aaron Rodgers said. One of the greatest stars of our generation. Shady McCoy, does Aaron Rodgers still have anything left to offer?
No. Aaron Rodgers has a Hall of Fame career, but his tenure with the Jets has been anything but that. Since joining the Jets in 2023, it's been rough. It started with an Achilles injury in the very first drive as a Jet, and 2024 has been anything but impressive. They missed the playoffs for the 14th consecutive season, had a worse record than Rodgers' first season when he was injured, and A-Rod has had his worst season since becoming a starter for the Green Bay Packers in 2008. How did Aaron Rodgers tarnish what was once deemed a stellar NFL career? I'm Jerry, and this is a Clutch original on how Aaron Rodgers altered his iconic NFL career. Before we get to New York, we have to give you some brief context for the Aaron Rodgers hype going into 2023. So let's kick it back to Green Bay. After getting taken in the 2005 draft, Rodgers was the backup to Brett Favre for his first 3 seasons. And in his first year starting, the Packers finished 6-10, missing the playoffs, which is still a better record than the 2024 Jets, by the way. And in that first year starting, he threw for over 4,000 yards, but also threw 13 interceptions, the most of his career. However, his 18-year stint in Green Bay will go down as one of the greatest of all time. Because during this time, Rodgers solidified his spot in the Hall of Fame. Let's just look at the highlights. While his 2010 season might not have been his best season numbers-wise, Rodgers performed in the playoffs as the 6th seed, at the time becoming the 4th player ever to have over 1,000 passing yards in one postseason run, joining the likes of Dan Marino, Peyton Manning, and Kurt Warner. This would also be his sole Super Bowl win and Super Bowl MVP. But over the next 12 seasons, he played at an all-time high, bringing in 4 MVPs, 4 first-team All-Pros, leading the NFL in passing touchdowns twice, and more. But after what was a surefire 18 years of Hall of Fame play in Green Bay, it got a little messy. This Packers breakup actually started back in 2018, as Rodgers had declared his hate for then-coach Mike McCarthy, and as next head coach Matt LaFleur was hired, then doing a joint practice with the Texans that Rodgers was not a fan of. But as 2019 progressed, the Packers made it to the NFC Championship game. And then it got messy again, because in the 2020 NFL Draft, the Packers took Jordan Love with the 26th overall pick, shocking fans and media alike. This while Rodgers was still one of the best in the NFL, and he hadn't been informed by anyone in the organization that Green Bay would take a quarterback this high in the draft. A-Rod will go on to arguably have the best season of his career in 2020, putting up the most passing touchdowns of his career and leading the league in multiple categories, leading to his 3rd MVP. And despite falling in the NFC Championship game again, Rodgers had intentions of returning to Green Bay, but signs led to a Rodgers departure because the Packers are running out of cap space and Rodgers' contract was never restructured. Then the fire got bigger. In 2021, Rodgers requested the Packers to improve communication. Then his agent David Dunn said Green Bay needed to trade Rodgers or fire GM Brian Gutekunst. And it seemed like Rodgers' trust in the Packers organization was long gone. Going into 2022, Rodgers won his 4th MVP and signed a 3-year, $150 million deal. But just 2 days after signing the extension, Green Bay lost even more of Rodgers' trust because they traded Davante Adams to the Raiders. 2022 would be Rodgers' final year with the Packers, revealing in March 2023 that he wanted to join the Jets. That would come true on April 25th, 2023 in a blockbuster deal. And after the hype going into the 2023 season with Rodgers at the helm, his immediate Achilles injury after just 1 passing attempt shattered the hopes of Jets fans. The Jets came into 2024 with new hope that would slowly fade, as they would end up with just 4 wins. Less victories than the previous 2 seasons. And Aaron Rodgers was skipping mandatory minicamps, was dodging hugs from then head coach Robert Saleh on Thursday Night Football, was having cadence issues highlighted in their Week 4 loss to Denver, and more. But there's a silver lining to the Jets' horrendous 2024. Because according to Rodgers himself, his first 2 seasons in New York have been the best 2 years of my life. Many see this as Aaron Rodgers unable to lead a franchise, but it might just be something else. Age is a huge factor here. When Rodgers joined the Jets, he was 39 years old. So we now have to look at the reality of NFL quarterbacks. Some all-time greats played late into their career. Brett Favre played till he was 41 years old. Drew Brees was 42, and Tom Brady was 45. But holding the standard to that of a Tom Brady is nearly impossible. Going into 2025, Rodgers is now 41 years old and has already had 3 major injuries and has now been put on the clock for a decision to stay in New York or not. In reality, this isn't a question about talent. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best to ever throw the football, but time is catching up, and not every player can play late into their 40s.